Hi Nadine, thank you for being here and having this chat with me. I wanted us to talk today about supporting the rise of the inner goddess. So what I've been noticing with my clients and what's happening around at the moment is there's a rise of the inner goddess within women. We're seeing this, they're kind of like hungry to awaken that inner Shakti, that inner power within them and step into a feminine power. So therefore they're going to see Tantra practitioners, they're going to events, they're going to workshops, they're going to sister circles, they're reading books, they're really immersing and designed to fuel this inner goddess. But what I'm also noticing is the men that are around them, or perhaps their partners specifically, might be a little bit intimidated. They're not quite sure how to handle these women in their lives who are starting to really awaken. So I was thinking, this is something that I'm now working with my clients, and I was wondering how you deal with this with your clients, the women that are awakening their inner goddess and the men that are finding it a little bit intimidating or not quite sure how to rise up with them, essentially, and meet them there. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's like bringing this basic kind of tantric understanding of feminine and masculine, Shakti, Shiva polarities within all of us. So not just in the feminine bodied beings, but also in male bodied beings. So it's about realizing that this energy is rising. Well, it's coming into balance. It's not like rising, it's coming into balance because we've been in a patriarchal dominant society for the past however many
centuries.
Years. Yeah.
Exactly.
And so so we're in a bit of a transition phase, if you could call it that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so there's this like hype almost around it. It's almost like a trend now, like this goddess, like the rise of the goddess, the divine feminine. And it's like, it's everywhere. You can feel it, as you say, like it's this huge hype, and it is leading men like in relationship and in society, like where do I fit into this? And it's it can be intimidating because like women have been kind of like in this kind of quiet phase,
it's suppression in a sense for so long.
Yeah, and in a more masculine kind of role. So what in my own journey and just awakening my inner divine feminine and tapping into that, it's kind of like seeing the men around me, how they're responding, and also supporting men rising their inner feminine energy as well, and realizing that what we really need is like the masculine to kind of be there and like hold space for that and create a safe container, a safe environment for this rise of like this powerful energy.
I love that, and I totally agree. And I love the fact you also mentioned we have the masculine and feminine within us. We have to understand that we as women have masculine and feminine energy, and the men in male body have masculine and feminine energy. So it's not the fact that women is now going to surpass, it's coming into that harmony within ourselves, the masculine and feminine, within our relationship, isn't it? Yeah. Because it's like Mother Earth has been screaming so long for her power to be noticed and acknowledged, and that's also the feminine in us, isn't it? With what's around us and with what's in us.
Yeah.
So what can we do, or what do you suggest people can do to support each other, to hold sacred space? How can someone hold sacred space for their beloved, for their partner?
I feel like there's kind of like this rise of, it's almost like a, if something's been like quietened for so long, there's almost like this, like an energy of kind of rage or like resentment has to come out to purify, to get that out of the system. So there's like there can be a lot of that kind of bubbling up. Like I've seen in a lot of like women's circles, it's kind of like a, like kind of like a resentment, like I've been suppressed for so long, like it's my time to the
volcano erupts.
And so when we're in this process, it's kind of like, this is what I mean, like men need to kind of be aware of this and hold space for that and just see like allow it to be.
So when you say hold space, I mean, as an example, if a woman is trying to tap into this, she's awakening her inner goddess as such, and she's having a Kali moment, as we call it, which is like going into your dark side. You might be feeling really angry or really frustrated. The ideal really for that man, for her partner, in holding sacred space, in holding that for her, is to let her vent, to let her be, as long as it's healthy. It's not attacking, it's just her expressing. Him just to stand strong in that and let her express, ideally. And then in turn, it's also important that he gets an opportunity to express as well.
Yeah, because that's what can kind of like sometimes happen, like the women, you know, when she's exploring that, like it kind of can be one-sided, and so the man's feminine energy is just, he's not getting a chance to explore that as well.
Absolutely.
And so there has to come to a point of like exploring both sides within each other. So it's not just like man is just always like holding this strong Shiva
Sure,
space.
because it's when he suppresses as well sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the dark side is then him not communicating from heart space as well.
Yeah.
So communication is so important, isn't it? And I encourage, I'm sure you do too, is that to set some time aside, even if it's once a week. Perhaps there's only half an hour or an hour where you can have this open communication, and to let one person be still and silent, just listening,
Yeah.
while the other person talks, and then swap that role. And that's a really great way to hold sacred space, isn't it? To allow maybe the feminine or the masculine to come out, and to keep that harmony in a healthy way, isn't it?
Yeah, because the masculine nature is like wanting to fix, you know. Like if there's a problem, it's like, oh, how can we fix this? It's just a natural
Reaction.
But coming from a woman's, like coming from my perspective, and many women I see, and even like, you know, with my girlfriends, like if my girlfriend, like a friend, is in a chaos, and just like, you know, you can just see it's just like confusion. It's like, I've actually had friends say, just stop trying to give me advice, just listen. And that was kind of like a turning point for me,
It's
like
huge.
for my masculine energy, to feel like, okay, I just need to hold space for you and just let you vent, and trust, like she'll figure it out herself, and it's a lot more empowering.
Yes.
Because you know the answers, and if someone can just be that solid kind of like clear reflection of just unconditional love, loving whatever's coming up for you.
I love the unconditional love. So true. And that's just it. And that's a really great way we hold sacred space, is just listening.
Yeah.
And really respecting that, and really listening. We were talking about this before. It's not just hearing what you think the other person's saying. It's actually listening to what they say and the words they use, and not adding in your own words, you know?
Yeah.
And it's honouring them. It's giving them a reverence to what they're experiencing, and also holding that space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love
exactly
it.
what it's all
Love
about.
it. Thank you for sharing this with me. If people want to find out more about what you do, where should they go?
Well, I actually offer a guided meditation. It's called the Balancing Your Inner Masculine and Feminine Guided Meditation, which is a nice practice, something to do. So it's available on my website at www.nadinelee.com.au, and I offer coaching, so and events. So
They can go there to find out all the details.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And if you'd like to connect with me, you can head to stellamuse.com, and that's Stella with an A.